Episode 3, Consequences of Advanced Magic. Dean Fogg is giving a lecture on the dangers of magic. Some magic is too powerful, and if you lose control, it will either consume or kill you. The first years then get tested to figure out their magical disciplines. To absolutely no one's surprise, Alice has very strong magic. She has an emphasis in physical magic and more specifically phosphomancy, the ability to bend light. They are unable to determine Quentin's magic, and since the physical kid's house has space, he gets put there. Penny is psychic and explains part of the reason why Penny has such an antagonistic relationship with Quentin, because Quentin has a very noisy mind and he doesn't know how to shield it from others. It also doesn't help that sometimes he'll play Taylor Swift on repeat and Penny has to endure that. Alice very much hasn't given up on trying to contact her brother, so Quentin approaches her with maybe a little less dangerous spell, a spell that can contact the dead instead of summoning. Following the spell, they are led to Wolf Fountain, where Alice then reminisces her relationship with Charlie and how he was always there for her growing up during her tumultuous youth. Charlie was the one who taught her how to make the glass horse spell. Once again, they do the spell, nothing happens. They leave, and as they're leaving, a hand starts emerging from the fountain. Later that night, 2 students are almost drowned, and administration warns everybody to avoid the fountain. Apparently, Wolf Fountain is the location of the deaths of 16 students and a dean. This never gets brought up again, so I think this is another example of just how dangerous and unwieldy magic is. In Hedge World, Marina tells Julia that she needs to be all in order to work with magic. She can't keep relying on her old life as a safety net. Julia, over the course of the episode, isn't really able to come to terms with this, and due to her living a double life, she ends up lying to her boyfriend and tells him that she has an Adderall problem to explain her disappearances. Elliot drags Quentin on a side quest to retrieve a book that the professors are looking for. It's so important to get this book because if the professors find out it's missing, they might start looking deeper into what happens at the physical kid's house. And if they really knew just how many parties went down, they might get shut down, which would then be a bummer. When they start tracking down the book, they end up being led to the Hedge hideout, and we, the audience, realize that the missing book is the one that Katie stole earlier. Quentin confronts Julia and says, "What are you doing here? Why are you hanging out with the magical D-listers of the world? I thought you were going to give up on magic." He completely offloads any resentments he has held for her in the past, and he sort of slut-shames her for slumming it with the magical D-listers. He is a jerk to her. I think he goes too far, but I think some of the ways that she has acted to him earlier, it's sort of like, while that was really mean and probably shouldn't have done it, I think a little bit was deserved just of how their interactions have gone. Elliot, ever the audience, gives a little golf clap at the end of it, and he tells Quentin, hey, you shouldn't feel too bad about, going off on her, because, at the end of the day, you found out who you are and she found out who she isn't. Alice ends up finding a boatload of tiny glass horses in her room, and she goes, oh my gosh, the spell worked. I contacted Charlie and he's trying to speak back to me. It doesn't give her any further leads on what's going on, so she ends up sucking it up and finding Margot to find out if she knows about any of the gossips and what happened when Charlie was here. Margot, ever the queen of gossip, has a lead that apparently there was a woman in Charlie's year that, due to some unfortunate accidents while she attended school, was given a muggle life and basically was set up with a whole career, which is very uncommon for the school to do, so there's probably a story there. They go locate the woman, Emily Greenfield, and she tells them about her story, how she was a student pursuing a relationship with a married professor who then ended the relationship, and in order to try to get him back, she used beauty magic, which is very dangerous because it's very difficult and unpredictable magic, and she ended up disfiguring herself. Due to all this happening, she tried to enter live, which Charlie intercepted her, and he tried to fix her with using magic, and it ended up consuming him, and he turned into a Niffin, a magical being that loses all their humanity. Penny keeps hearing a woman's voice calling for help, and then all of a sudden he finds himself on a completely different continent. Dean Fogg and a professor pick him up and say, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry we missed this. You're a traveler. A traveler is basically a rare ability that allows the magician to teleport to other locations, and if they are powerful enough, to other worlds. After learning about what happened to her brother Charlie, Alice is convinced that she can save him. She gathers up some spells, and she also gathers a Niffin box, which is used to trap Niffins, but her intention is just to use it to lure him to her and then save him. Quentin goes along with her, worried that she's not going to be able to make the right decision to keep herself safe in the face of her brother, and comes along. They are able to contact him, and he shows up, and immediately they are hit with the fact that he has lost all of his humanity and he doesn't care about Alice anymore, and he is quite literally willing to attack and hurt them. Quentin ends up having to use the Niffin box and capturing him, and Alice gets extremely upset at this, and she ends up leaving school. She is livid. This is her entire reason for coming to the school, and now she has no reason.